Thank you for joining us on this episode of EideCast is a Sing-On. Today, I am joined with Titling Administrator Caiti Guischer. Did I say it right? Perfect. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. So right away, what do you do with Vern Eide? I know you're Titling Administrator, but what does that exactly mean?
I do all the titling for all of our Sioux Falls locations. I write up all of the MSOs and the titles for every vehicle we sell, including issues. If there are any problems, I deal with the state of South Dakota. I deal with the counties. So,
when you say issues, like what can that kind of entail?
Sometimes there's lien holder issues where we've added an incorrect lien holder. We have to get that corrected.
Okay.
In addition to that, there might be fees that are due in addition to what people have already paid at the county level. There's some referral letters that come through with the state.
Okay. How long have you been in your position?
Ooh, I have been with the titling department probably 5 or 6 years, I think.
Okay. How did you get to where you are?
I started with filing a long time ago. I've been with the company almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So I started filing with the service department when we had our Mercedes-Benz and BMW location.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've kind of gradually moved into the service department and then into the accounting office, helping Vicki when she was here. Okay. When she was doing titling. So
very nice. Are you enjoying the last 5 years in your new position, or do you feel like some of the previous positions have kind of set you up for success in what you're doing now, or are they way different?
Sure. Yep. Everything that I've led up to this position has helped along the way. Just kind of knowing exactly what to do and where to go from all the titles and, how to handle them all.
Very nice. Where are you from originally?
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls. Okay.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
I was in Sioux Falls for a couple of years, and then I moved to Brandon. Okay. So I graduated from Brandon. Okay. And then now I live in Baltic with my family.
Okay.
So.
How far of a drive is that to Sioux Falls? That's like 20 minutes?
It's around like 25 to 30 minutes, yeah. Okay. Depending on traffic.
I'm sure weather plays a little part in that too. Are you liking living kind of outside of Sioux Falls, or?
Yep, we live on a farm, so we're kind of in the country area, so it's nice not having too many people around and got your own little space.
Very nice. What does your family consist of?
I have a husband and 3 kids. Okay. They're all girls.
Oh, fun.
Aging from 8 to 4.
Okay.
So, it's a good time. We're always busy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And all the kids go to school in Baltic, so it's nice too. So.
Okay, so you live on a farm in Baltic. Is it like a working farm or hobby farm, or what type of farm?
Well, we have chickens and ducks. Okay. Basically, we feed them to get eggs. Okay. So yeah, we have them all produce eggs. So.
How many chickens do you have?
Ooh, like 15 or 16. Yeah, I just replenished we had an incident at our farm here end of last year. Okay. A mink actually got some of our ducks. Yeah. And some of the other chickens were not laying very much, so we replenished them with some more, and then now all of a sudden they're laying all their eggs. So
of course, yeah. I was kind of wondering about that because I feel like I've heard that sometimes chickens will go on like an egg strike almost. They won't lay any. Is that what causes that?
A variation of things. Not getting enough food or water, the heat, the cold. It kind of just all depends. And then some of the issues that we have are like the eggs will freeze before we can get out there, even if we have a heating lamp in this area. They have a hut basically that they can go into at night, and then the ducks are underneath the hut. But then they have like a big run that they are in all day. So
okay, very nice. With getting the eggs, are they? I know there's like some pretty like green eggs and brown and speckled and stuff. Are they all brown, or what are they?
Well, the new layers that I have, they're like a really deep, rich brown, which are so pretty. Yeah. The other ones are like a lighter pinkish tone to them. And then we have a couple of speckled too. Okay. We have guineas. I guess I should mention that too.
Okay. With collecting eggs and stuff. Is it true that you can like leave them out are they shelf stable without washing them, or do you put them in the fridge?
Yep, they're shelf stable without washing. Okay. Yep, if you don't wash them, they can stay on the counter probably for 2 to 3 months.
Oh, wow.
They last quite a long time. Typically they don't last that long in our house, but if you do wash them, then you can put them in the fridge and they last up to a month. Okay. A month and a half.
What would you say the hardest thing about having chickens would be?
Probably just like the predators. We didn't really have too many issues like the first like year or so that we had them. But then we consistently, like, I think it was 3 or 4 months in a row, we had the minks, and then we had a raccoon,
Okay.
and we had skunk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be my biggest part of it.
Okay. Do you have any like dogs or cats or anything?
We have a couple of dogs too,
Okay.
and we have a cat that's just outside, basically a mouse hunter to keep the mice out of the house. But I do have a yellow lab,
Okay.
and I think she's 12 now. And then we have a little bully dog that is just a little over a year. So
What do they think of the chickens?
they don't mind him.
Okay.
The bully dog likes to go and eat the food that he can see on the outside of
course.
the coop, but otherwise they don't really bother him.
That's good. So you went to Brandon or graduated from Brandon. After graduating from Brandon, what does it look like from then until kind of now? As far as like, did you go to college at all, or did you start right away in school?
I went to school for a little while. I went to school for childcare, actually.
Okay.
But then I kind of just changed my career path as I was here at Vern Eide already, and I was, set up for success for the next position. So
Very nice. How did you initially get started with Vern Eide?
my dad actually worked at the Mercedes BMW location when we had it. So I kind of just started there. They had customer care days that I would come in. I wasn't even really old enough to work.
Yeah.
But I was there cleaning cars and stuff at like 12 or 13.
Okay.
So, my dad, and he works out in our Mitchell locations now as, I'm not exactly sure what his title is, but
Okay.
yeah.
Very nice. I kind of wondered because I was like, hey, you said you've been here for about 20 years.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm like trying to do the math of how old you had to have been when you started and everything.
Yep.
So very nice. When you're not at work, what do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy, I started baking sourdough bread.
Oh, okay.
So that's a new adventure for me. It's kind of fun and keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to crochet,
Okay.
and I do like to read.
Very nice. How old were you when you started crocheting?
Oh gosh, back in like middle school probably.
Okay.
I kind of picked it up back then and kept it through the rest of my life. Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
been fun.
What is your like favorite thing to crochet?
I've done hats, which is
Okay.
kind of fun. It gives you a little bit more details, and you can, like I think the last one I made was like an owl for a little baby, so
Cute.
it just had like an owl face on it, and yeah.
How long does a project like that take you generally?
Oh, good question. Probably not very long as I can consistently do it. I would say maybe a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, like bigger projects, like I did a blanket with the thicker yarn, and that took me like months. It was a long process.
Do you have to use like really thick needle or like the really
And you could
the
even
hooks
use
or
your
whatever you call them?
hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. With sourdough, is that pretty time consuming?
It started out, I was kind of overwhelmed with it because you have to like feed it actively every day to make sure that it's active for you to actually bake the bread. So it started out to be, but now that it's active and going, it's really easy to keep up with.
Okay, I always wonder.
And you can always put it in your fridge. It kind of keeps it a little bit longer there. And Natasha actually got me kind of hooked on it. So
Yeah?
yeah.
Do you have a favorite thing that you make with it? Do you just make like loaves of bread or?
I actually just made a jalapeno cheddar loaf
Ooh.
here recently, and it was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
So with sourdough too, I have a couple friends who make it. Do you name your sourdough? Like I feel like people name them.
Yeah, so I started out with Bertha.
Bertha.
And then I have Mirtha because
Okay.
my kids thought it was cool to name her Mirtha the second time around because I kind of killed it off the first time.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I was doing, and so started fresh, and now we have Mirtha.
Okay.
So yes, we do name
I was like,
it.
I feel like I've heard that people name them, which
Yes.
maybe I'll have to look into it as if I need one more hobby.
I mean, it
but-
is an active living thing, so yeah, you might as well name it. It's more fun.
Exactly. So when you killed Bertha off, sounds so bad. How did you? What happened? What went wrong?
Well, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know what to look for. When it was considered active, I did a few tests that they say, like having a float test where you put it in water and then it's supposed to float. If it floats, it's good to go and you can bake your bread.
Okay.
It never did float.
Okay.
So I just gave up.
Okay.
And then Natasha actually had given me some of this Eve that it was like dehydrated, and then we started baking with that, and it worked out really well.
Okay.
So.
Just try a little trial and error
Yeah.
with it. Very nice. And then you enjoy reading. What type of books do you enjoy reading?
All sorts of things. Like, I'm not exactly sure what the author is. I listen more than I actually physically read them, but more like romance, like, I don't remember what the
That's
author
totally
is, but
fine. Do you do so you do like audiobooks in
Yeah.
addition? Do you like do both physical and audio, or do you prefer audio?
I prefer audio because
fair.
then I can do other things with it too.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have the attention span to sit and read a
Sit
physical
and-
book.
Yep.
So like I need to get a little bit more into audiobooks. Do you feel like the voices of the people reading ever impact you wanting to listen to it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some books that I've listened to that I'm like, this doesn't really seem like it's for me. Even if the book itself may seem like it's for me, the voices do have a lot to do with it too.
I feel like that plays a big role into it of like, this just doesn't seem fitting. Do you like keep track of the books that you read on like Goodreads or anything, or do you just kind of keep a mental list?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. I've heard a few people talk about Goodreads, and so now I'm like
I've seen that too.
deep diving into it, and I don't know. I like to join in other people's worlds. Like now that you're talking about sourdough, I'm probably gonna start making sourdough just because I'm like, well, I need to see what it's all about.
Why not try it?
Okay, so you have 3 kids. What do they play sports? Or are they involved in any hobbies or?
My second grader just started basketball, so we've been doing basketball the last couple of months. And it's been fun for her. At first, she didn't really care to do it, but we got in there, and now she's loving it. Other than that, we don't really do. There's not much else for the other kids.
Okay. Did you grow up playing sports or involved in anything?
I did. Well, I did basketball. I've done volleyball. I did some cheerleading. Never really stuck it out though. Just kind of went on to do nothing in high school, really. So
kind of tried it out and just was like,
yeah,
isn't
it
really
wasn't for me. Yeah.
That makes sense. With your job for the titling administration, what's your favorite thing that you do, or what's your favorite thing about the job?
I enjoy writing a lot, so I love just writing up the MSOs and the titles that I have. I do like some of the challenges there with the state and referral letters and trying to figure out like what needs to happen to get something corrected, just to keep things interesting. Not that my position is not interesting because every day there is something new that comes up and someone's asking a new question. But yeah, it just keeps things kind of going for me. So
okay, two questions kind of following up with that. What does MSL mean? Sorry.
MSO is the new manufacturer certificate of origin. So
MSO or
well, they call it an MSO or an MCO.
Okay.
So manufacturer certificate of origin.
Okay.
I don't know why MSO because always stuck with me, but for whatever reason it has. I think it means pretty much the same thing. And then that's for new cars, and then the titles are for the used vehicles.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Sorry, you said that, and I'm like, I don't think I know what that is. So, and then the other question is, you said that something new comes up every day. What's like an example of that?
Well, just like I had one this morning. So a finance manager can call and just say, hey, customer stopped in. Their lien holder was wrong on their paperwork. And then what do they need to do? Or do we need to assist with them? So depending on if we did all the financing for the car or if the customer is the one that brought us a check, so we considered it a cash sale, depends on if the customer is going to handle it or us. And so that customer has to go back and get a lien release and then get the new lien added onto that vehicle title.
Okay.
So
very nice. I've bought like one car personally in my life, and I think I was like 20, 21, so I don't even really remember it. And now hearing all this, I'm like, I feel like I dealt with some of this stuff, but I don't remember any of it. So it's interesting to kind of revisit it. So you started at Vern Eide basically before you were even like old enough to start.
Yeah.
Has this been like your only place of employment then?
Full time, yeah. I did some like volunteer jobs when I was like in middle school and high school. I went to the outdoor campus and I helped them with animals and stuff like that. So I kind of just tested out like animals, and then I went and did childcare for a while. Like I said, with the schooling, but I just never. This was more enjoyable for me, I guess. Yeah. So at the time, I think I was doing like warranties and capping of deals. So it was a little bit different.
Over your time here, what have you noticed has changed with the culture, or has it stayed pretty consistent?
I would say that it's gotten better. I mean, obviously, every year it kind of changes and new people get added and people leave and things like that. But I consider that it's been going really well, and I think we're going in the right direction with the culture. So
good. What is your favorite thing about working for Vern Eide?
I like the people. My coworkers are great. They're a great asset to this company, and I may or may not be here if they weren't here. So,
yeah, that's fair.
sometimes it gets hard and challenging, and so you want different outlooks and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I'm sure the people around
they keep
you,
me kind of grounded around here. So,
yeah, I'm sure they all just make a big impact of having that nice support system too when things do get tough and whatnot.
yeah.
So fun fact that you say, or fun that you say that you worked at the outdoor campus or volunteered there. I also did as a kid, which
that's fun.
was a lot of fun. What was your favorite thing to help volunteer with when you were there?
So I got to clean the animal cages. So like all the animals, including like spiders and lizards and all the things and birds.
Okay.
I think there was one day that I had to clean the bird cage of some kind, and the bird like flew out into the rest of the building because you're supposed to be like enclosed in a certain area, and that was a challenging day, but it was still fun. I loved it.
Are you a pretty outdoorsy person, or how did you decide that you wanted to volunteer there?
Well, I've had animals growing up, so I had like a parakeet for a while. I did have frogs and turtles that I'd find at like the camping grounds or by the Big Sioux. So I mean, I had my touch of animals, so I just thought it would be kind of fun to go and volunteer that.
Totally. What is something that people may not know about you?
Well, most people probably know this, but my dad is Greg Holbrook, so he is the general manager of some kind at the Mitchell locations.
Okay. What would you say is your why, or like what motivates you?
Probably my kids. My daily routine basically consists of getting my kids up, getting them ready for school, and then taking my time to get to work and start my whole day over again. So I would say my kids.
Very nice. Somebody stopped me once and said that if I see you, like, give you a big kudos, round of applause. I think there was an email sent out. What did you do? Because I don't think I was on company emails at the time, so I actually didn't even see what you did. But you did something great, and I want to know about it.
Yeah. Well, it was actually to do with the state of South Dakota. So they had started re-implementing old policies or procedures that they had. They had a lot of falling out in the state, and they've really been nitpicking and very detailed about all the transactions that come through. And one of the things that they were looking at was lease transactions. Okay. So lease transactions, you cannot show say you trade in a lease vehicle, you can't show that vehicle on the new lease contract because you don't own the vehicle. So they were basically saying we owe additional money because we had that vehicle listed on there in taxes. And so they were starting to send out different referral letters saying we needed to pay $1,600 for this unit, $1,200 for this unit, only based on the fact that that customer did not own the car and they're showing it as a trade. Okay. And that's just on the contract. On a lease transaction, you don't show that vehicle anyways because it is a leased, the new vehicle is a leased unit. So they were just getting a lot of extra taxes out of the deal. So basically I communicated with the state and as well as Jim. Jim had a couple of contacts for me and we kind of sat down and figured out a good way to go about it going forward. And basically I had provided to the state a bill of sale from whatever leasing company we paid off to us as the dealership instead of from the leasing company to the customer. Okay. There's a difference in their paperwork that allows them not to have to pay those additional taxes. Good. So very nice. Yeah. Okay. I helped all of our South Dakota states. Yeah, so. Give you a round of applause for that one. Very nice. Yeah, I think Tyler stopped me one day and he's like, hey, make sure you give her a big round of applause. So, thank you for clearing that up. Yeah. I was curious about that. Okay, so I have a bunch of random questions here. I'm just going to ask you some random ones. I don't even know what I'm going to pick. So, who is your most embarrassing celebrity crush? Maybe when I was a kid, like Aaron Carter or something. That's not embarrassing. That was not embarrassing at the time because when Aaron's house party or whatever CD came out, that was like my sister and I listened all the time. So I'm with you on that. She was a big Nick Carter fan, and since Aaron was a little bit younger, that was more of mine. But I can relate to that, so I don't think that's too embarrassing. Do you ever talk to yourself? Sometimes. Do you answer yourself back too, or just? No.
No, okay. I'm not judging. I mean, sometimes
Just talk out loud kind of thing, just to like get it all out there. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to. There's a lot going on sometimes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is so weird. If you could jump into a pool of anything, what would it be full of?
Water.
That's the logical
I don't know that
answer.
I'd really want to jump into anything else.
Not like a pool of pudding or think about like diving in head first and then your legs are just like flopping around. Like I feel like you get
Like
stuck.
you get stuck.
Yeah, that sounds like a horror thing almost. But naturally, like Jello kind of is what came to mind. Okay, sorry.
Now that we talk about it, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Little tangent there. What is the worst song in your opinion?
Some of Miley Cyrus's.
Oh, okay. Like
I don't know exactly like what the song is called.
okay,
But some of hers are kind of.
that's fair. I was like, if you're gonna say "Party in the USA," I might dispute that one a little bit. But if you're like,
No,
one of these other ones,
One of
okay.
like the newer.
Okay.
Whatever she's done more recently.
Okay. What kind of music do you generally listen to?
Country.
Country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite artist?
Not really. I kind of listen to a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I mean, Morgan Wallen's probably one of the top ones, but
Very nice.
yeah.
I've not listened to a lot of Morgan Wallen, but I think there's one that he did with Post Malone that I've listened to a little bit. And that's about the extent. I hate to admit that. I'm sorry. Are you a coffee person?
Yes.
What's your like go-to order?
Iced. Well, like if I go to Scooters, it's like an iced Caramelicious.
Okay.
And then like a double shot.
Okay.
On top of the normal shots that are already there. So I think it's like 5 or 6 shots.
Yeah.
And then like if I go to Starbucks, it's basically the same thing. It's an iced macchiato.
Okay. Anything else that you would like to share about you or anything? No.
No, not really.
Okay. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of EideCast, and thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you next time.